From the New York Times, I'm not talking about the Daily. Instead, I am here to celebrate a featured moment for Webby winners in podcasts and digital audio. By the way, I have to say I'm really thrown because I'm from a family newspaper and that was a curse word. I didn't expect it and it's made me think about curses and it's not right. I'm here to talk about podcasts. And if you haven't noticed, everybody has a podcast now, right? Literally everybody has a podcast. How many of you in this audience have podcasts? Okay. But how many of you host a daily podcast? The answer is very few, because you'd have to be a masochist to host a daily podcast. And while hosting a daily podcast does not make me a hero, it does make me the presenter for 3 of tonight's incredible Webby-winning podcasts. And since I can't help myself, I will break a little bit of news as I go along here. So let's get started. If you use the internet, you know the rules for dealing with the haters. You do not respond to them. You just completely ignore them. That's the advice I'd give you. That's the advice anybody would give you. But if you are Dylan Marin, you take the exact opposite approach. And because he took the exact opposite approach, we are all much better off. Conversations with People Who Hate Me, a very aptly named podcast, is a beautiful show that shows us that there is more humanity that holds us together than separates us. And this podcast is a masterclass in confronting internet trolls. So, accepting the Webby Award and the People's Voice Award for Best Individual Episode is Dylan Marin, host of Conversations with People Who Hate Me.
To my childhood bullies, thanks.
Well said. Since taking to the streets in Ferguson, DeRay McKesson has been a visible and vital activist in the front lines of Black Lives Matter and in the fight against police brutality. With Pod Save the People, you all know it, he is further advancing that cause through deep, penetrating conversations and interviews about race, racism, and issues affecting communities of color. He is an urgent voice online. He is a favorite podcast host, and he can really rock a blue vest. Here to accept the Webby Award and the People's Voice Award in news and politics is host of Pod Save the People, activist DeRay McKesson.
And no justice, no peace.
A single moment, as you all know, can change your life and change your career. And it's clear for Brian Reed that that moment came when he opened his first email from John B. McLemore. But let's be honest, it didn't just change Brian's life. When S-Town was released, it gripped the entire culture. It is this psychologically complex, deeply human, heartbreaking, aching story of one man's existence in small-town Alabama. S-Town, for those who haven't heard it, and there are none of you in this room, it comes from the same team that brought us that other podcast that we found so addictive, which of course is Serial. And tonight, S-Town is winning 2 Webbies. Here to accept the Webby for Best Writing and the Webby's People Voice Award for Best Series are Brian Reed, Whitney Dangerfield, and Neil Drumming.
Remember, life's tedious and brief.